Hey everyone, this is Suha and today I have a great tutorial for you how you can color any illustrations in Photoshop. Steps are very simple, just keep on watching, and if you like this video, please do subscribe to my channel and give this a thumbs up. So the first thing you have to do is bring an illustration in Photoshop. It can be an AI file like the one I'm going to use in this video, or you can scan your own hand-drawn sketch and work with that. The process is similar for both types of illustration, but if you are going to scan an hand-drawn image, make sure the lines are crisp and clear. There are no broken lines, otherwise this won't work. So let's get started. So the first step is go to the files and open an AI file. So I'm going to open an AI file, open, and leaving all the setting as it is and hit OK. Okay, so this is a very important part. At this point you have to check what is your color mode. Mine is CMYK. So we don't want to work in CMYK, we are going to work in RGB. So make sure you go to Image, Mode, and change the color mode to RGB color. That is a very important part. If you forget it, you're gonna get in so much trouble later. So make sure you do that first. So first thing we did is open an AI file, and this is just one layer, okay? So we're going to create multiple layers. Before we get started to work on the layers, first thing I like to do is organize the layers so I don't get into trouble while I'm working on them. So first thing I will do is going to name this layer, and we're going to call it outline. Okay, and I will duplicate this layer, drag, and that's going to duplicate this, and I'm going to keep both layers, but for now I'm just going to hide it, and I will show you why I created this layer in a minute. Now we are going to create another layer, which is a background layer. We want a white background, so we're just going to drag and drop this layer, and we're gonna call this background. Very simple. Okay, now we are all going to hide this outline layer. Now there's nothing, and we're gonna come over here, select the paint bucket tool and select the white color and click, and that's a white, gives us a white background. Okay, so we can unhide the outline layer. Now you can see. Okay, so how I like to work is I like to work on separate layers. I don't just color my image in one layer, and because it's a destructive way of working. You don't want to work in one layer. You want to create multiple layers so you have the flexibility to edit anytime you want. So at this point I want to create at least 4 layers for the skin. Let's see why. So we are going to create one layer for the hands, one layer for the legs, one layer for the body, and one layer for the face. Let's create 4 layers. This is the create a new layer button, and clicking on it will create that 4 layers. See, we now have 4 layers. There is nothing on them right now, but we'll get into those in a minute. So we're going to name them. It's very important that you name all your layers, otherwise as you're working you're gonna create more and more layers, and you'll be very confused what in what layer. So make sure you do that first. So this is going to be the legs, hands, body, and face. Okay, now we're going to click on the face layer, and we're going to hold down our shift key and click on the legs, and that's going to select everything in between. Now we're going to group these layers together. We're going to click Control and G. That's going to group those 4 layers together, and we'll call this group skin. Hit OK. So this is our skin layer, which has right now it has nothing on it. So let's create one more layers, a few more layers for the dress. Okay, so we want a layer for the pants, we want a layer for the front, and a layer for the collars. And as you can see, this dress has some back, so obviously the backs are going to be a darker color than the front, so we want those to be in a different layer as well. So again, I'm going to create 4 layers. 1 2 3 4. First we call this pants, dress, front, collar, dress, back. Now again, click on the first one, press shift and click on the last one, select everything, Control G to group them, and we'll call them dress. Okay, so now that we have all of our layers organized, we can start working on them. So the first thing we need to do to work on those layers is to select a particular area. To select, I will be using magic wand tool, which is here. You can also hit W to, that's the shortcut key, and get it easily. So W for magic wand tool, and we want to color the legs first. Okay, so make sure you're on this layer, which is called legs, because we will be filling in the leg area. Okay, I'm selecting that legs area, and shift, I'm holding down the shift key and clicking on the other leg. To select multiple areas, you must hold down the shift key. So we have those legs selected. Now we are going to select the paint bucket tool, which is here. We can also hit the button G to get that. I've also already selected the skin type of color. Make sure you're on the leg area, because I want each color to be in different layers. Okay, so select, click to color that. Control D to deselect, get out of that area. Now we are going to select again the hands. W for magic wand tool, hold down the shift key to select multiple areas, shift and click. Now we have our hands, but we're still on the legs. We have to come to the hands layer, so we fill that layer with the colors. G for paint bucket tool, click. The reason why we need to select that area is because in case by mistake you click on somewhere else, it won't work, because you have that particular area selected, which won't let you color any other areas of this page, which is great. That's why you need that selection. But you can still work without the selection if you have this. If you have an illustration that has crisp lines like this, clear lines, you don't really need a selection that I will show you in a minute. Okay, Control D to deselect. So this time we are not going to select anything. Since we have fine lines, the color won't bleed out, but if you have a broken line, suppose here, the color is going to also color the background. So if you have fine lines like this, you don't really need to select. So this time I'm not going to select, just to show you. So I did that without selecting. See, I'm going to do this again without selecting. So we have our skin filled with skin colors. See, if we turn off that group, you can see all of the skins are filled with that color. So I have gone ahead and colored the dress in the same way I colored the skin, and as you can see, they're on different layers: the pants, the dress front, the collars, and the dress back. All of these are done using the exact same method I showed you, W for the magic wand tool and G for the paint bucket tool. So you should always work in different layers, so you have the flexibility to change the colors, change the styles anytime you want. And this is the way I usually work. In the starting of my video, I have showed you that I made an outline copy of this layer, and right now I will show you why I created that layer. So I'm going to turn it back on so you can see what's going on. And as you can see, the outline copy is filled with white colors, so it's blocking the colors that we already did in the skin and dress layer, as it's on top of all those layers. So it's blocking all the colors except these, as those were transparent, so you can see through them. So as you can see, it's blocking all the colors. It has white filled color. So what we want only the outlines but not the white colors in this layer. So how you can achieve that is by changing the blending mode. To change the blend mode, you have to come here. This is the blending mode, and right now it's in normal mode. We want to change it to multiply. So what multiply does, that it only shows the darker shades of the illustrations, and it make the whites disappear. So I'm going to put this in multiply, and as you can see that all the whites has disappeared from that layer, but the outlines are fine outlines are still showing. If you cannot see the difference, let me turn it back on and off so you can see the difference. Let me zoom in. Without this outline layer and with this outline layer, the lines are much finer and you can see them better, and the illustrations is looking much better with that simple trick. So that's how I usually color my illustrations. There are so many other ways how you can color your illustrations, but this is one of the best way I think works for me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos on illustrations. And if you would like to learn how you can achieve highlights and shadows in your illustrations and make them appear much more realistic, I will be uploading a new video on that soon, so keep an eye on my channel, and thank you very much for watching.